If you tuned in 2 days ago to the live show, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be live. It went out live and very, very embarrassing. No real complaints, but very, very embarrassing. So at any rate, here's the show as it was meant to go out, and wow, I'll be more careful. Good thing there wasn't anything embarrassing on my desktop. That would have been worse. Here we go. Is Tesla gonna build a factory in Saudi Arabia? No, of course not. That's not the point of this video. The point is we're going to be skeptical. We've got to use our brains and think things through and figure out what's reality. We can do it on our own. I swear, I promise, and I'll show you how. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla Weekend. Joined with me, as sometimes, is Randy, the amazing Randy. The pretty good. Because I think the great was already taken. So I apologize for that. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them with an iron fist.
Well, my mother already had the amazing. So you know, the pretty good probably is the one you'll have to stick with.
I'm not in a rush to upgrade you. Let's just say that. So big announcement. Wall Street Journal doing their Wall Street Journal best. Saudi Arabia is going to have the next Tesla factory. No, they're not. When you saw that headline, what was your first reaction?
No.
No, and why not?
Well, let's see. We fortunately see, because you can't be an expert on everything, and you certainly can't be an expert on everything in 5 minutes. I've done a number of chapters and books and stuff where I've talked about how you can become an expert in about 2 hours. In about 2 hours, you can become enough of an expert that you can maintain yourself in a room of other people who consider themselves to be experts. Especially with the internet today, 2 hours, you can probably do it if you have a brain. Okay. And there are people in this room who do. Which room? Anyway, so my point is that I am not an expert on Saudi Arabia or on whether manufacturing a car in Saudi Arabia is a good idea, except that a few months ago, we all had to become experts on that because of Lucid. Because that's the only way they're going to survive, is if their buddies in Saudi Arabia keep pumping money into them. And the Saudi Arabian leadership wants them to put a factory in Saudi Arabia. So then we had to become experts. So my expertise right now would say there's no raw materials. There's no universities. There's no engineering core. There's no group of people that are experts in building cars. There are no suppliers.
There's no suppliers.
Other than that, I think they should build a factory in Saudi Arabia. So, of course.
They don't even have ports adequate to export high volumes of cars. They don't have any of the pieces that are missing. And the supply chain is the biggest one. But right, never say never. They couldn't have a golf tournament. They put enough money in. They created the live golf tournament, the whole division. And if they can do that, why can't they build cars? And the answer is cars are a little more complicated than golf courses. Okay, Randy, what if they said $4 billion will pay for the factory? Would it be a good deal?
That's probably what they're doing with Lucid.
That would be the starting place.
And it would have to be $6 billion for Lucid to do it. Tesla could probably do it for $3 billion.
Right?
But once you have the factory, I mean, look at the problem that Tesla is having getting people to move to Sparks, Nevada. Now, if you have trouble getting people to move to Sparks, Nevada, how are you going to get people to move to Saudi Arabia?
To a country where alcohol and holding hands on the beach are illegal. That's not good. So let's say the factory's free. Now you've got a free factory built not by Saudis, but by, I assume, Indian and Pakistani migrant workers who are treated very badly.
Also Filipino.
Oh, okay. Their migrant workers are treated, in some cases, worse than slaves, but okay, whatever. Forget that part. Let's say you could actually get people who wanted to work there and were happy to work there. You don't have the parts. It would just be an assembly plant. Right. And manufacturing lives on just in time. You can't get just in time via boat unless you've got warehouses that are 10 times the size of your assembly plant. It's not how it works. And I saw someone on X saying, well, they could just, get started and have it work. Maybe they could develop all of the competencies at the same time.
Yes.
Whoa, that's a lot of moving pieces. And if any of them is missing, now you're stuck. Because I don't know if you know this, Randy, but 99% of a car is not a car. It's a car in weight.
Yes.
It is not something you can actually sell. So if you're missing the blue oval, you've got to fill a parking lot with F-150s and wait for your blue ovals. For crying out loud, Jim, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
So
where do you think they got the idea? I'm sure that Elon is in conversations with like every world leader. I said on my channel the other day, if there is a Guinness Book of World Record for company leaders, CEOs, talking to heads of state, I think Elon has passed it this year. I think you said he was at 9 a few weeks ago, I think, on my channel maybe, and he's talked to 3 since. So 12, maybe more that I'm forgetting. He's been all over the place.
All over. Everywhere that everybody wants the factory.
Yes.
We saw today, Turkey wants a factory. Of course they do.
Please,
of course they do.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's going to make sense. Again, even if the factory was free, it doesn't mean it would make sense. Turkey is not known for its automotive manufacturing prowess, and like you said, we got to have the engineers. We've got to have a workforce that's at least familiar with manufacturing, which Saudi Arabia does not have, not in any kind of tech sense. So the point of this is we've got to think critically. We've got to think skeptically. But the Wall Street Journal said, yeah, we can't just lean on their reputation because their reputation has become quite spotty. And it's not just them. Reuters is the one. Reuters is, a year ago, I would have called them the gold standard. They're right up there with the Associated Press. They're a newswire. But Reuters put up a paywall, and now they're not a newswire. Now they're a revenue generating, and that just leads you to clickbait, and that's where they are. So Reuters was saying, Giga Mexico City is happening. This local, low-ranking, vice deputy minister said, we've got an office park that they could use, and they will fly the cars out. That's the author should be fired for posting that absolute nonsense, and his editor should be fired too, because the editor should have looked at it and said, what are you doing? You know this is complete nonsense, right? This doesn't make any sense. And it's, yes, but we're Reuters. Oh, yeah, good point. I forgot that.
Yeah. I quite frankly, right now, and I'm looking at all of these news sources multiple times a day. The only one that I take at face value right now is Barron's. They seem to be the cleanest right now. We know some of the ones like Business Insider are completely off the planet. The Street is useless. I mean, some of them are worse than useless. But Barron's right now, if you guys are out there looking for a source that you think you might be able to trust, that's at least where I'm sitting right now.
I would say don't trust any of them. Think critically first.
Yes.
The one I've seen all over the news since the Walter Isaacson book came out was here is the Robotaxi. This is it, you guys. And everyone just said, oh, okay, great, let's run with it. My friends, that is a drawing on the back of wall among 500 other drawings from 5 years ago, 10 years ago maybe. If you look at the pictures that were behind Franz in the design center for the possible Cybertruck designs, you will see 10, 20 designs, all of which look quite radically different from what the finished product is. And there are people who say, oh, it's going to be 3 wheels. Why would you say that? If that's true, it's definitely too soon to know. We need to think critically. That's not where we start. That's not where we go. It doesn't make any sense. So, there are, and there, for that matter, there's a lot of information about the strikes going on that that we covered yesterday. You just found out because I'm recording these out of order.
I see.
There's a lot of of armchair experts you will find online who have never lived in a union town, who don't have any understanding of how unions work. They see layoffs and their frame of reference is, I got laid off once, the job was gone forever. That's not how layoffs work in a union town. Layoffs are a matter of course. They happen all the time. You don't go out and look for a new job. You just go home and wait because your job will be back in a week or a month. It's just how it works. So be careful who you get your information from. And that's why I try to always get out on the ground and talk to people and learn these things firsthand and analyze them and scrutinize them and be critical about it. Because otherwise, what you get, garbage in, garbage out.
So I was looking at a number of articles, of course, over the last 5 or 6 days, trying to connect the dots and see if I could get a handle on this particular strike. And I'm so old that I can remember multiple auto industry strikes. I have a sense. I have two things right now on this strike, and maybe you can reflect on my thoughts. Number one is that Fain, the president of the UAW, is only been in office for 2 months, and he needs to hit the ground running and convince everybody that he's the guy.
He needs to notch an early victory.
He needs a not early victory, but he apparently thinks that the way to do that is to go in with zero chance. There was zero chance there wasn't going to be a strike. The way that he approached it, he didn't even give responses to the offers until the Thursday before the Friday. And the offers that he was making were so completely off the chart, impossible for the companies to survive. So I think that he wanted to get a lot of headlines. B, he wanted the strike. And I'm concerned that he wants these things for the same reasons that Putin wants a war in Ukraine. He wants them because he's powerful now and he wants to remain in power. And this is how he's going to do it, is by creating a lot of confusion and anxiety in a situation where I don't think a strike was necessary. I think this could have been resolved.
Well, and I will pull that back into the who should you believe thing. When you're looking at news sources to give you information about the strike, you need to very much consider the source, because there are a lot of publications that are extremely pro-corporate and a lot that are extremely pro-worker. And finding a balance there is difficult, and you need to be able to talk to people on both sides of the fence, because there is a fence and it is clearly delineated. And that's, I saw someone saying Obama had piped in on X saying that, we need to find a solution. Very diplomatic. You can hate him if you want, but the only thing he could have said better than what he said was nothing. And then he got criticism saying, weren't you the one that bailed out GM? And the answer is no, he's not. That's the previous administration. And I don't like to get into politics because there are people I love very much who have politics that are very unusual. And that's true of everyone, because everyone's politics are slightly different. I don't know if I've ever met someone who shares 100% of my views. No. And I think that's a normal thing and a good thing. Right. And if I picked my friends based on that, I would have no friends. And I prefer the way I have it now. I have, I think, 2. So but the point is, I will say only one thing about politics before we wrap this up, which is the first EV credit was Obama. The second EV credit was Biden. If you are a single issue voter and you care about electrification or renewables, there's your decision on who to vote for. If you vote for someone who's going to step back from EVs and you care about EVs, you're throwing your vote to the wolves, not even throwing it away. You're harming your own self-interest. So if something else in the policy is more important to you, if you would rather have a personal tax break than clean air for your grandchildren, that's something you need to understand and consider for yourself. I did want to say a quick thanks to newest patrons. Alan, Mark and Owen. Thank you guys for joining Patreon. You're the reason I'm able to do things like go to the Detroit Auto Show, go to the Battery Show, go out to the picket line itself, of which I'm sure I've had some B-roll here during the show, and talk to people. Get real information from the ground. And it's also how I feed my children.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, no.
Won't you think of the children? Yes, Brian, but I'm thinking of my own children. Won't you have children with me? What? Wait, what? That doesn't... No, Elon, no.
Where are you going with this?
It's bad enough that executives are leaving his companies to have children with him. Who was it? Was it... yeah, from the Neuralink. That was fun. What an interesting time we live in.
Still there, isn't she?
Yeah, well, yes, but I'm pretty sure that's why all the other executives, male and female, have left, is to have twins with Elon. It's an epidemic. It's going around.
It definitely is.
And by the way, that's not how babies are made. The only thing in the air that can cause babies, I'm told, are legs. So I want to thank you, Randy, for swinging by and saying, sharing your thoughts and your wisdom. For everybody else, leave a comment. What did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it in the comments below, as you do, because it's the only way we know what we missed. And for everyone else, buy Randy's book, because the Elon Musk method is the least effective form of birth control in history. So stay tuned, stay juicy. I can't wait to hear from you, clever robots, on the next one.